Welcome everyone to season 9 3/4, episode 5 of The Will Reads. How's everyone doing tonight? Doing great, doing good.
I guess doing all right.
All right, sounds good. Quick announcements before we get rolling. Glad of you to join us, Ian. I hope you got some W's. I guess his mic, his audio is not working. Yeah, dude, if you're playing Fortnite, it goes through. Yeah, it's
You're just really quiet. Oh, there we go.
Ah, there you
go.
Now
you're crazy loud.
Yeah, I hope you got your good W's in there.
It's worse. I did one more drop so I can finish a quest that I could do real quick, and then I just swam out into the ocean and I told them good luck, and the storm killed me, and now they're down a person.
Nice.
But I got my quest. I got my weekly quest in.
Well, cool. Sounds good. Quick announcements. We do, I think, have a new patron. I think.
Ooh.
Let me double check and make sure since last time. Yeah, so we have Christopher, not this Chris, but another Chris.
Yeah, but I'm not
Christopher
paying.
Robin?
Yeah, 3 days ago. Yeah, Christopher. So welcome, Christopher. All right, this episode's for you, as always.
Thanks, Chris.
And other announcements. Yeah, we do have a guest tonight. I was, instead of just having the beginning to be like really quiet in the background, I've kept them backstage. But then I want to be like the Wade Leaf and like have a really cool intro for them, like the Wade Leaf does. But I don't. So how about this?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh yeah!
Welcome, Rob.
Oh yeah!
I thought we were getting a Kool-Aid man.
That's great.
Oh, no.
That's gonna be my new intro for every guest we have. It's just gonna be the Kool-Aid Man. We got Rob from the Weekly Wheel News, where you get all of the news about Wheel of Time. It's always true and factual. And
right.
if you get your news anywhere else, you're a dark friend, right? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So welcome.
I need
Welcome.
to sign up for that.
It's spoiler heavy.
I know, that's why I haven't signed up for it.
Just a couple more years, Chris. We're halfway there, and then all the content.
Yes.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
There. So yeah, we're doing new spring tonight. Rob, to fill you in where we are in the books, we've read through Winter's Heart, and so far new spring. That's it.
Okay.
So first time readers, Chris and Ian, have not read past that. So they got.
But just say whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart.
Yeah.
The last thing they got in the main series.
Remember, you're truthful in your news. So
Yeah, you're bringing in a full spoiler account, just so you know. But I will try.
Yes.
we're gonna hold you to
I will
your
try. I will
truthfulness.
try to.
Don't be stressed
Rein it
over
in.
it at all. Just
That's okay.
whatever's in your heart and on your mind, just let it come out of your mouth, and it's okay.
Yeah.
We trust you.
And you do have a podcast as well, right, Rob?
Yeah. So myself and 3 other friends. So Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern, Alyssa from One Power Ballads, and Koala Sadai. We are all, co-hosts of a vaguely sort of kind of new podcast. We've only done 9 episodes so far, but we've been doing it for about a year. So that's why I say it's new, but it's not really new. It's occasional, and basically it's kind of like tips, tricks, stories, nightmares of content creation within the Wheel of Time community, and a healthy dose lately of therapy.
Okay.
We talk through like mental health issues and stuff like that.
Okay.
Sign us up. We'll hop on for that episode.
Yeah.
I think like some, if not all of us, consider ourselves neurodiverse. So
Yeah.
that's kind of it didn't start out that way, but it's kind of like veered that way. So it's
and
it's
the
fun.
name of this great podcast is
They Might Be Dark Friends.
They Might Be Dark Friends.
It's
Alan definitely needs to
inspired
get on
by
there.
They Might Be Giants,
Right.
Alternative band from the 80s, 90s,
Sure.
and still today,
Oh,
still putting out
We
music.
are aware. Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
Some
And,
listeners might not
yeah,
know. There's
I'm
young
sorry.
folks out there.
Yeah. Well, if you want a episode all about how not to do a podcast, we're happy to talk
For real,
about
we got
how
that.
horrible you can possibly be podcasting and how we have no idea what we're doing. We've gotten
Still.
better, I think.
We
I
have
think.
people still listen.
I guess maybe.
Alan has tried to make it better, and I think he has done a good job.
Yeah,
I'll
for
speak
real,
for
we just
myself mostly, but Chris and I kind of show up.
My head's getting bigger by the second. All right,
It's-
thank you
yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Compliments from Ian.
we make people feel better about their lives when they listen to our podcast. They're like, if these guys can make it, I know I can do it. We are inspiration.
There you go. In addition, Rob also his wife is our merchandise maker. So this is actually not our
Hey.
merchandise. It
Ooh.
is merchandise that's made by New Creations by
Like, I
Jen,
should
I
go put a new
believe.
shirt on.
Yeah,
now.
this is Black Tower makes this one, right? The Flicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, flicker.
See,
So
that's
Black Tower
something
podcast makes this one, but yeah, it's I decided to wrap.
I
at
just
least
want
some
you
of
to know that all of her shirts are hung nicely. All of her shirts, all the shirts that she designed, are hung nicely in my closet, waiting for
The
my next
appropriate moment in
opportunity to
time.
wear. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's fun.
So,
That's
so if
fun.
you
Yeah.
guys do want to check out our merch, you're helping Rob out, who does lots and lots of content, podcasts, a newsletter that is wonderful. If you want to call it that, what do you
Dude,
call?
I'm just jealous
It's
of
the-
the wall of ribbons back behind him.
Oh
They're,
yeah.
like, folded over on
all-
themselves.
I just put those. Well, there's one of them that's folded over.
I
like
know, I
the-
see that.
The two of them are Jordan Con and two of them are Watcon.
Oh,
Watcon
yeah, I
ones are a
didn't
little
recognize the
smaller
Jordan
because
Con ones. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Cool.
those guys back
Nice.
there.
Yeah, very nice.
Very good bling.
Yeah. So
Very
that's
nice.
kind of fun. I was trying to, jazz up the background as much as I can when it's also kind of a workspace too. So
Yeah.
Whoa, Alan, look at his mic setup.
I know.
He's got
That
a
guy
legit
is a
mic.
pro.
I know.
well,
Whoever is handling the equipment purchases for his content creation, really appreciates
I
quality.
keep my mic hidden. It's right, literally below the screen level.
again, I would be my wife. She heard that I kind of wanted to, start doing, more podcasts. or-
He's got the chub.
And so a few years ago for Christmas, he got me a setup with the microphone and the
Yeah.
whatever
great.
you call it, the little box that you connect the microphone to the computer. You don't even know, audio interface or something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ooh.
And then
The
like
distortion pedal.
the arm and all that kind of stuff. She was like, I don't know what to get, so I'm gonna talk to some YouTubers and podcasters in the
Yeah.
fandom. And so she talked a lot with Rebecca from Reading the Pattern and got
Okay.
some good recommendations on
Sure.
equipment. So
Aw.
Rebecca
So,
liked
yeah.
the long, big black one too. Okay.
and
Chris is
Anyway.
just diving in.
I do
yeah,
actually.
I have a mic boom that's down there and another mic.
Alan, that's not what it's for. Why are you just shoving them in your pants? Mike Boom, what do I do with this? Just put it down there.
down there. Just
Prop it up.
it doesn't go there. Stop it.
40 years of gravity, man. I need some support. Rob is
That's
already
our shit show,
regretting.
Rob. It's like, what did I walk into?
I'm already red, but luckily my light's flushing me out, so
There you go.
it's all good. It's all good.
So
Let's talk about women in scandalous dresses. No, wait, we
yeah.
got to talk about daily life first.
Yeah, tell your life. Yeah. We had a birthday last week. So my son's birthday, which means it was Ian's birthday too. But we had the party over the weekend. So a house full of kids was my weekend. So yeah.
We're in
fun.
recovery now.
Yeah, everybody survived. Nothing was broken, which is amazing. A testament to just putting away anything that could be broken.
Yeah, because I've been to one of his parties, and I'm telling you, the kids do kids things.
They wild out.
Wow.
The only thing about it was like they had like there were a couple of parents that like came and just dropped their kid off, and I'm like, we need to set
That'd be
perimeters
me.
around that
Yeah,
Right.
daycare service.
next time, because those were the kids that were like like I went outside and like one kid's with like a giant like stick just trying to like smack other kids with it. I was like, where are your parents? Oh, they're not here. Okay.
They were just practicing sword forms, Alan. Come on.
I would just have to warn all parents. It's okay if you drop them off, but I speak honestly to my children. Like whatever
I
I'm
discipline.
thinking, I will say, It's sometimes I'm considering feelings. Sometimes I'm not.
Rabe's cold is still in effect here in my home.
Yeah,
So
they're
eye
definitely
for an
practicing
eye.
sword forms. But when you have like 6 and 7-year-olds practicing sword forms, the forms aren't that great, and it's more just wailing and no
Yeah.
form and protection at all, and parrying at all. It's just
Just take them to
Watching
the
out, make
bamboo,
sure you
Alan.
don't get. Make
What'd you
sure
say?
don't get whacked in the
Take them to the
boys.
bamboo, Alan.
take it to the bamboo. Oh yeah, that's
We had bloody knuckles for
bloody knuckles for that.
weeks.
It's cool. So that's my personal life. That's all what's going on with me. Getting ready for another birthday party this weekend because my other son has another birthday next week. I have lots of February birthdays.
It's a good month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What's going on in the world of Ian and Chris?
Mine's short and sweet. I've had a even mix of ups and downs, so I'm kind of level for the week. Yeah, one semi down that I don't know if it's a down. I don't know. Still figuring that out. Got to make a phone call after this. We'll see. But it's middle of the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
What a cop out. I'll accept it because it's you. If it wasn't you,
That's me
It's like one of those
saying
post game interviews after a football game, and they just like tell you. a
I'm
whole
here
lot
so I
of
don't get
nothing.
fined.
Yeah.
I'm answering questions so I don't get
we
fined.
played a good game. It was a great game. We all played. We played hard.
Well played. We just need to
I
execute.
think we played a good
then-
game.
It sounded like Madden doing like the commentary.
What could you have done to win?
this game?
Well,
You gotta throw the ball into the end zone, or you gotta run in the end zone. Occasionally, you can kick it too, but that's how you win this game. Okay, Madden.
I think if we had a couple more points than the other team, we might have come out ahead. No, well, the down stuff I don't want to get into, and the good stuff is boring. I mean, it's work. I'm taking contracting classes. We're going back to in-person classes, which I'm actually really enjoying. It's bad. I remember why my teachers hated me or were challenged with me growing up, because in the first 10 minutes of class, I read through the material and I was like, got it. So now I just need to entertain myself. So every time I find a mistake in what's being presented or multiple answers that could be argued to be true or whatever, I'm having a good time interacting with the professor. But meanwhile, I'm confusing the shit out of everybody else in the class.
Yep.
So,
I was that kid too.
You're that guy.
Yep. I'm
Try to
like,
be on the
technically B and C are both true because B includes C and it says if, not only if. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing training classes at work where I've been doing the one on the other side. I've been the teacher,
Oh.
and it's always fun.
have you had
I had
any
a night-
me's in there yet?
I had a nightmare about that last night.
Have I had any what in there?
Any me's?
Oh no, they're just blank look and not even sure they're paying attention, and then like they'll call me up and like, dude, I tried what you did, it worked really, really well. I was like, glad you actually listened. Cool.
That's why I told you about
That's why I
it.
told you to do it. Anyway, fun times.
So I actually blew into Virginia this weekend. I didn't say anything to anybody because my nephew turned 13. And so it was
Heyo.
all about him. So I drove very quickly into Virginia Thursday night. Went and did a bunch of stuff for my grandma Friday, and then surprised him Saturday for his birthday, and then was supposed to stay through Monday but got sick, so came back here and spent my morning with doctors this morning. So I didn't know if I was actually going to be on tonight. There was a moment where I was like, dude, I'm so exhausted, I can't even think about. But then I was like, wait, I kind of like this, so I think I'll be there. But
breaking news from the Weekly Little News.
What? I am here. I may
might
regret it, but I am here.
But
Dude, we feel that way every Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, whenever we decide to log on and do this.
We haven't officially
That's all right.
started the episode. And he's like, this could be bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
So far.
Well, it's not my first rodeo. I have been here once before.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of
It must have
like,
went all right for me saying I'd come back.
for real,
Yeah.
or you just had amnesia for a moment and then you went back and thought about it. Like,
Yeah.
damn, deja vu. I've been here before. Oh no, wait, I've been on the show already.
What am I doing in my
What am
life?
I doing?
Enough time goes by. Was it that bad? It wasn't that bad. 5 minutes in again. It was that bad. Yeah.
Speaking
That's
of
why I
amazing
try not to think about it.
shows, Usher last night, Super Bowl. Only part of the Super Bowl I watched was the Usher concert.
I
And
enjoyed it.
find it even more hilarious that Beyonce decided to steal the night from him.
Yeah.
By just showing up.
She dropped 2 singles and released the date for her album while he was performing. What a boss move.
The
Like, what-
memes though from the halftime show were fantastic, and that's what I live for.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Jordan Peele sweating like one.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the chemistry between him and Alicia Keys. First off, she missed her first note. I was like,
I
oh
know. It was
Lord.
flat.
I was like, please correct this. And she did. She came back. She rallied.
Yeah.
She was a true professional. She was still is my, like, one of my few, many. You know, if I had the chance, Chanel would just have to be okay with it.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Even with the mommy
Love her.
body, she's still hot. So
Love her.
anyway,
Yeah. All right.
well, I'm glad my wife doesn't listen.
Yeah. Sounds good. You guys ready to go into these chapters and talk about Moiraine some more?
One more thing. I want you to know how influential you are on my life. Chanel's like our next place. We have to have a room where I can't hear you podcast.
Yeah.
Like, as we've been looking for houses, that has been part of the test. She
A
has me
panic
go
room.
into whatever room we're gonna use for the office.
I've moved
She's like,
around
"Now
so
laugh
much.
as loud as you can."
I recorded my living room now, so like literally, there's a fireplace right there. It's like in the living room.
Oh,
She's gonna move you out to the van out in the driveway.
Probably.
Yeah, my wife threatened to move me out to the garage or out to the shed, which both don't have any AC or heating. So
we're not picky. I've recorded from a leaky boat. Chris has recorded in church.
Mhm.
So
yeah, true.
it don't matter.
During a sermon.
Basically,
Ian's
I'm on a
recorded while
podcast.
driving his car down the interstate. Like,
Yeah.
I've done that too.
We've all done that. Well, Alan's pretty good about not doing that. He has to be though.
He was in a closet one time at a
I was
beach
at a
house.
vacation home.
He's
Yeah,
been in
literally
the
like
closet
crammed into his
so
tiniest
long.
little closet. It was a lot of fun.
Well, so the last time I was on your guys' show, I was at an Airbnb up in Seattle.
Okay.
We kind of took like a working getaway, and we're checking out as many pizza places as we could. So that was kind of fun.
Nice.
Nice.
But it was also like the one time that has now become like my interview question for going into jobs. Like, when does a project go sideways and how do you deal with it? Like that happened like right before I
That's
joined
the
your guys'
story.
podcast. We had some guy, like one of my designers, like basically how it worked was like I would set the tone for a campaign, and then like I would do, and I was working, it was for Amazon at the time, Amazon Web Services. And so I would do like the banner graphics for a campaign of webinars. There's like a series of webinars that would happen with, highlighting different companies. And so then like he would take my designs and then apply them to each of the different partnering companies. And so like, let's say we're doing one about AI, right? Like I would design the Amazon branded one, and then he would take those and apply like the design elements, like, well, I'll do one for this company, one for this company, one for them, one for them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one of his, like, it just like we had a certain like design element we had to use like a zigzag shape, and we could turn it, perspectivize it, whatever you want to do, to make it original and apply whatever colors and stuff we wanted to each time. Well, like his crop, unfortunately, was like, of the element in the background, like it went through. I didn't see it. Well, I thought I saw something, but I didn't say something. So that's my like lesson learned. If you see something, say something. Because like in the back of my head, I thought like, you know what, that kind of looks like a Nazi SS symbol. But if I say that, everybody's going to think that. So I don't want to say it, but I should have said it because sure enough, somebody else thought the same thing after it went social, after it went like out to like all their channels, and they started getting complaints, and they're like, hey, we got to, pull this right away. Like luckily we had another design like to throw up there in the meantime, and kind of like.
So you're the reason why I spent so much money.
There was a
Amazon
band
did
back
all
in the
my money.
90s, very similar type thing. They put like this, like a heart, like that, on their shirts, and found out it was actually a gang sign for Chicago or Detroit gang or something like that. And they print a bunch of shirts and we're getting them out. Then someone realized, like, that's a gang sign, right? And they're like, oh, take the shirts down, take the shirts down.
Yeah. I mean, like, thankfully it was all electronic, so there wasn't like printed stuff that went out and everything like that. Like it was easy to replace, the website assets and stuff like that. But the social things still went out, and like that's where the person saw it and said it, and then it went viral from there.
So
but I
Rob,
was just like, I should have said it because if I'm gonna think it, I'm probably not the only person gonna think
Yeah.
it.
yeah, Rob, I
But
don't
that
want to
was
be
like what happened
critical,
last time.
but if you're like interviewing for a job and they ask the question like, how do you deal with XYZ situation? I don't know that if you want to go to the I accidentally pushed Nazi symbols on the American public. Because
As a
even,
go-to.
even though you might have learned something from that, and that's a quality lesson for you,
Yeah.
I don't know that the business is going to be like, When I was thinking about the risk of hiring this person, I didn't consider the Nazi bit, but
Yeah.
I guess.
And
we
then
all
you never
gotta-
know because like the interview could be like have a friend at Amazon. He's like, did this really happen? They're like, crap. I thought everybody forgot about that.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a good way to get blacklisted. So I gotta
No,
shut my mouth.
I'm
right
kidding.
away.
But
No,
good
you're
that you
probably
learned from
you're
it.
probably right. I should probably stop telling that story now that it's like on your live stream and out where the whole internet can hear it.
So I accidentally
There's
killed
only some people
somebody.
watching
No,
right
it,
now.
it wasn't. It wasn't murder. It was manslaughter. But this is my takeaway from what I. This is what I learned from that.
And
I mean,
this
most
is
things,
a
like,
great
I
way to
feel so bad.
segue into girls in dresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing could go wrong there.
All right. So business in
No.
the city. You guys ready? 13, chapter 13.
Business in the city.
Wait,
Okay,
Rob,
so
wanna tell us
you
about
told me about what chapters we're going to be doing ahead of
Uh-huh.
time, and so I was like, okay, so I got to read New Spring.
Mhm.
I started about a week ago, but like I've been like super busy, so I'd only got up through like chapter 3 or 4, and I realized like how long it has been since I read New Spring.
Mhm.
Usually I've noticed that I probably leave it out of my rereads, and so so I might be a little bit rusty, but this morning I tried to cram. I went and I read the chapter summaries like of what happened up till then, and then I listened to these ones, and I got about halfway through chapter 14, and so I don't know how much I'll be able to speak to in chapter 15, but
It's okay. You can just pull up
but
cliff
yeah,
notes or pull up
13 and 14 I think I'm pretty good
pull
at.
up some chapter summaries. You'll be good to go.
And if we let Alan speak, he does a good job of kind of summarizing. It only goes downhill when Chris and I have a lot to say, and then Alan gives up.
Look,
Well, there
Rob,
were a
you're-
few really interesting things I found in there, so like we'll
You're
see.
better than the
Okay.
rest of like I finished reading as we were starting, so you're okay. You're in great company.
You're in good company. Yeah.
Iris has a good question
Oh, what's that?
to start the chapter.
How much embroidery
much
is too
embroidery
much
is
for
too
a
much?
job interview?
I don't think that you can have too much embroidery. I think you just wear what you're comfortable with, as much
Yeah.
or as little.
Yep, I'm good with it. I used to have my initials on my cuffs.
That's what our Damani
Simple, but
individual thinks. She's
set you
like,
apart.
you
My
want to wear
next job
something that,
interview,
like,
I'm gonna wear my mist cloak, and because Chris told me to.
yes.
And
No red armbands though.
You know what's really cool is you might actually get a fan who recognizes it and is
It's a
like
mist cloak.
hired on the spot. You just never know.
You never know.
Uh,
I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
why I've designed the shirts that I've done because it's like, it's kind of hard to find another person who's read the Wheel of Time. And
Yeah.
so, when you're out in the wild, if somebody sees it and they're like, hey, Althor Farms, I know what that's from. And you're like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Instant connection.
awesome.
cool. Yeah, every once in a while I run into that. Very rarely, and even with the Cosmere stuff, whether it's Wheel of Time or Cosmere. My wife the other day was at the library, and the librarian was reading a Mistborn book, and
Ooh.
she was like, "Oh."
kicking herself.
She's
Yes,
like,
she
yeah.
knew.
She was like, yeah, I just started the series. Like, my husband does a podcast. She's like, I don't listen to podcasts. Not interested.
Shut down.
Oh, wait, whatever.
Well, when I heard you were doing that podcast, then I was like, cool, because I had just started reading Stormlight,
Okay, cool.
but I've never read the other
Ooh.
stuff.
Okay.
And so apparently I jumped into the deep end. I don't know.
Yeah, you
You
did.
did, but it's phenomenal. We could talk all about that, but
Not at this time.
Yeah.
when are we
Never
going to do our pause for all those listening? I'm going to address this now. When are we going to do the book 2? Like, I finished
You
it.
let me know. I'm
Ian,
ready.
I need a 7-day notice, and then I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, this
in
is your
8
7-day notice.
in 8 days.
So Tuesday
The
of next week.
20th. Yeah.
Oh, you
do
can't
that.
do Tuesdays. That's right. Can you do Tuesdays now?
I mean, it's going to be a rough week, but I can do it.
Awesome. All right.
We'll
Cool.
come up
That's
with a
when you're
date
doing book
afterwards.
2 of what?
Words of Radiance, book 2 of
Words
Stormlight.
of- Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
when I just finished.
it's a good one.
Oh, you should join us in too, Rob. You'll give us like this is one where like we can all just have free conversation because we're not reading
It's the whole book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're doing the whole
Okay.
book. Yeah.
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 Anyway,
Anyways.
I'm not joining y'all again. Y'all can't even get to what we're supposed to be talking about. We're 30 minutes in. I have a very
I'm trying. I said the title.
trendy-
I've said
I have a very nice trendy shirt-like item on that would look like a dress on my wife, and it even has.
Yeah, that'd be good pajamas for me. I could.
These are my pajamas. They're supposed to be a t-shirt.
It's dark in color, so it'd be good for riding.
It would be, but of course, our Damane lady thinks that you should wear very pale, body form-fitting items, and you know, some people just aren't comfortable in that. They blush too much.
Don't talk back to the dressmaker is what we've learned.
Don't ever. That is all. That we could just summarize the whole chapter right there.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if you look online at the summary of this chapter, it says Moiraine buys a dress. Period.
Yeah. Okay. And so, like, what you wear is important. Who
Correct.
makes it is important.
Even more
And
so.
they are an important person. Like,
Let me tell you, ladies, I feel you. Like, have you ever tried to find the proper fit? Like, Alan, Ian, you two can't talk. You can go into a store and you can buy clothes. You can walk into.
well, I know my measurements, and
Yeah.
they while there's some difference in styles, they're pretty close.
Yeah.
My 32
I still think of everything
waist,
tailored.
31 inseam. Boom.
That's because
I mean,
you're short.
I gotta
Yeah.
get everything. I gotta get everything altered. I mean, I
Do
still
you?
even if I. Yeah, actually,
Wow,
I mean,
you guys
when
are
you
too
when you
bougie
buy
for me.
suits,
Dress pants
when
are
you buy
always way
suits,
long,
they
so you have to get those
they
brought
don't
in.
come hemmed, so you have to.
Yeah.
When you go buy
Oh,
suits.
see, I go to DXL. They always have my stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I take it to my own tailor. He's the Korean guy down the street.
We all
Okay.
had the. This
Jay's
is why
good.
we had this podcast. So
Good
you
people.
can take the suits to tailors.
Yeah,
Chris,
Jay's good people, man.
Chris, I know where you're going though, because my daughter, who's about to turn 21, I remember when
God, I
she
forget you have a
was
daughter.
11 and younger, buying jeans for her was pretty simple. 12 and older, some things start happening in the female world, and different parts of the body shape differently at different rates and everything. Going jean shopping for her when she was around 12, 13, that's when I eventually
horrendous.
switched to, here's a pile of money, invite your friends, I'll drop you off, and y'all just take your time, because the sizes for girls mean nothing.
And
And
neither does
you
it
would
for-
think it
for
even
big
gives you a
men.
starting point. It does not.
No.
You still
Yeah.
just have to pick them up and look at them, ignore what the number says, and then see, what it looks like. Is this close enough to even try on?
Yeah. Well, speaking of a pile of money, that's how we start this chapter. So Moiraine getting 1,000 crowns, golden crowns,
There
and
it is.
heading to the bank to deposit her money. And she gets there, and a Karian wearing a uniform, captain of the tower guard, arrives with an order supposedly signed by the armland seat.
Allegedly.
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 Do you guys ever have
So-
a low-key on the sly interactions with your bankers?
Well,
I am a banker.
Only when Alan was handling some investments for me.
When somebody comes in and you're like, hey, there was a guy asking about you. You look like you could be Russian mafia. I don't know.
I have a few people that I just don't question. They give me their ID. I do what they want. I let them leave. I don't ask questions.
I've
never.
called the cops on someone at a bank when I used to work.
Oh,
at a
I've
bank.
done that a lot.
Cool.
I put
Yeah.
out on some people too.
Alan had some good stories from back in the day when he would do lending. And I'm
Oh,
not going
yeah.
to call any in particular out, but you shared a couple stories with me where there was some sketchy individuals
All the
working
time.
for a sketchy organization
loans.
that should not be a sketchy organization, but they were the most sketchy.
Boys and
all
girls.
the
Just
time.
leave it at that.
All the time. It's like
Boys and Girls Club United Way.
I know, and I'm not naming any.
I'm not naming any
Boy Scouts of
organizations.
America.
Yeah, I'm not naming organizations, but yeah, there was some sketchiness. No, it was even those are even more
I'm
obvious than the
totally
ones
kidding.
that were sketchy. Like
Yeah.
there was a fish store. They sold fish, like aquariums and fish.
Mhm.
And I went in there to like give him a loan, and I was talking to him, and he's talking about cooking the books and everything. I was like, "What? Like,
So maybe you cut
Step
me a
back
deal.
out.
you're
come back in, you do
laundering
remember.
money and doing all this like you're a fish store. Like you sell fish.
Something
You sell
smells
little
fishy
kids
around here.
goldfish that they flush down the toilet in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And that's
all
how we make
whatever.
our
That's
millions.
what happens when you deal with tyrants there, Alan.
I know.
So I will say that there is always going to be a certain level of discretion with your banker. There should be. If you can't walk in and feel comfortable that person is going to understand you, where you're coming from, and try to help you do what's best for you when it comes to your money, there's always going to be that moment where it's like what's best for the bank.
But don't also ask your banker to do something illegal for you, because I've had people do that before too.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
don't do that.
No.
I will be the first to have a conversation with you. And I love it when young kids come in. I'm going to educate the heck out of them. They're going to be there for an hour and a half, but they're going to walk out with so much knowledge, and they're going to be like all about saving money and all about how to make their life easy. Like, yeah, but don't come in there and do something stupid or bring me a fake ID and look at me like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, you know what? Anyway.
The worst one I ever had, I had some guy come in. He's like, I'm a co-signer on my son's mortgage. He's about to go bankrupt, and I don't want the lender to take my money. Is it okay if I take all the money out and put it in my safety deposit box, all the cash in there? I was like, that's illegal.
Yeah.
And now to report that, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Don't ask, don't tell. Just go do it.
Do
like
it. If you did, none the wiser. But yeah, you told me. Now it's reported, dude. Like,
my son was telling me yesterday, like, because he used to work, he used to be a salesman for Verizon. So both in the mall and then like at an independent store. And he was telling me, like, he said, like, yeah, the best tip I ever got was like somebody who tipped me $200. And I'm like, oh, dang, how'd that happen? He said, well, if it was like this person who had like a lot of old accounts or something like that, paying through the roof on things that they didn't even have anymore. And they said, like, if you can get my bill down to, whatever, then that's a tip I'll give you. And he got their bill down from like $600 to like, 300 or something like that, and 380 or something, he said, and they were just like, hey, here you go. And he's like, wow, no way, just for picking the buttons and But then he said, yeah. And then one time I was 18, I was new 18, and I was working in the mall, and then somebody was like trying to tip me by giving me a bag of weed.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah,
no, I'm good, thanks. And I'm like, good job.
I've been offered a tip in weed before. Yeah.
Ian one time offered me just the tip. I turned it down.
It was just for a little bit, just to see how it feels. Just kidding. Yeah.
So like she walks in and she's got newfound money, but it's nothing compared to what she's brought before. But of course, you're well in line banker. She already knew. She's like, she saw the stole. She's like, okay, so you made it. Congratulations. And it was genuine congratulations. Like they have a relationship that is slightly above that of a banker with her client, and you
more
have that
important
moment.
than who she was even before going to the tower. She was somebody from a family, but this is a station.
And this is the family that has been dealing with the banker's family for a minute, so there's that deeper relationship. So it is always good to find a banker and build a relationship, and we don't really have that these days because banking is just such a volatile job. Like people move,
so much is automated.
Everything's automated. Like the worst thing you can do is sit here and think that you're going to build a relationship with a banker and only visit them once a year. That's not going to work. Make sure you stay up with that person. Make sure you exchange numbers.
Who are you?
Right.
I mean, literally, people are like, "Man, you've been here the longest." I'm like, and that's sad because it's only been 15 months. But I found it very interesting though that she started off right away with information. So she went in with the impression that Moiraine was there to ask more about a person that was inquiring about her.
Yeah, he gets arrested too.
Yeah. Well, does he get arrested or just thrown out on his back?
Oh, she stuck the guards on him, and then
yeah.
But she stuck her guards on him.
But he got away. I guess they tried to. But anyway,
he got away.
So I mean, this is obviously going back to the whole plot of the Days d'Amar of Carian. And
no, I don't know that that's true right now. Maybe
I thought it had something to do with the Amerlin.
Okay.
Passing.
That's part of it too. Like I
thought it was tower politics, maybe.
I thought it was tower politics, but this is before the Amerlins passed. She hasn't passed yet when he's shown up. So I kind of thought maybe he was keeping tabs on her for the Amerlin with instructions for her if she passes. So that was kind of a thought.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why would she entrust that to just some rando? Wouldn't she have her own warder? Or maybe this is her warder. But he would be more skilled at handling these situations, in my opinion. But he didn't want to be found out. So I question.
It's a good thought, Chris, but Alan spoiled us, and clearly it has something to do with business back at home. Thanks, Alan, for destroying our hopes and dreams.
Well, I mean, the next chapter goes right into the whole thing of like, anyway.
I was about to say it, so I'm glad you said it first, so they could be mad at you.
No, I'm not mad. If I get an opportunity to poke at Alan, he knows by now. I'm
there.
going
The next chapter we covered tonight. Did you guys not read? So anyway, they go to the dresses after this. Swan and Moiraine go.
By the way, I'm in the Swan camp. This is the reason why it's that much more difficult. I'm not paying you top dollar. I'm not paying you $140 for a pair of jeans. No way in hell, excuse my language, but like this is polo, right? This really thin but very comfortable little hooded shirt is $130. I paid $20 for it, and I felt like I still got ripped off because I know there's some kid in China that built it for 10 cents. And I feel like if I'm gonna pay $20, that kid should get 15 of it at least.
Yeah. When I got my first job that required suits, I got like 2 that were, I thought I need to have a couple that are nice suits, put the money into it, yada, yada, yada. And then for like my extra, during the week suits, I just got cheap, whatever I could find, even on the discount rack, whatever, throw it together, get it tailored, make it look nice. And I realized if you have a good tailor, it almost doesn't matter where you get the suit from. If you got somebody they can make you look good in it and make it look sharp if you get it tailored and it's form fitting. So the only time it comes into play, the name brand and where you got the suit, is when somebody asks you.
Yeah.
Because they don't see the tag when you're wearing it.
Also over time. The cheaper suits that are glued together, they fall apart faster. So
don't go too cheap.
Yeah.
But you definitely don't need to be high. You don't need $1,000 suits in the guy world.
No.
You could find nice suits for a couple $100 or less. If your size is just right on the rack, you can find good jackets for $100 or less.
Buy one, get 4 free.
Yeah. And I'm not opposed to Joseph Banks, man. They got some good stuff.
No, I went and worked at DXL just so I can catch everything on the clearance rack and then get my discount on it. So I have Michael Kors sitting in there. I've got Rochester. Nice. I've got Ralph Lauren. And no, I didn't pay those prices. No, I paid much more. I have an entire, so I have 3 Ralph Lauren suit sets that are like,
sometimes the price is not actually the quality either. Like, I mean, it's like my most expensive suit I ever bought was an Armani suit, and it is the worst, like, falling apart suit that I. Yeah. Sorry, Armani.
Now the one I got married in.
Nice.
Anyway, so going back to Moiraine buying 20 dresses and Swan buying 6 and complaining about the price. Moiraine's like, these are good
wool. Did I hear that right?
Yeah,
she bought wool dresses.
Yeah,
it's funny because wool now is more expensive.
Yeah,
than many other.
She grew up around the water. Alan could tell you there's certain materials that will kill you in water. Cotton being one of them. Wool and fleece is the way to go if you're going to be in any kind of cold or moist, wet area.
So
and I'm a big fan of wool.
Yeah, cotton does not absorb heat. So when you fall in the water and get soaked, your body heat will not transfer to the cotton, so you'll just stay cold.
Cotton kills.
Wool and fleece, because they're coats of animals, they actually are by nature when it absorbs the body heat. So even though they get wet, your body heat will warm the actual cloth up. So when you learn on the water, never wear cotton on the water. You always wear fleece and wool.
Yeah.
So Swan knows what's up.
Yeah. Plus she Swan's thinking practical.
Where she's gonna be going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll wear my
durable.
Now on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got wool socks to go with it.
There you go.
And unless you've like washed it and dried it incorrectly, it breathes really well. Yeah. If it's like just straight wool and you shrink it up in the dryer, it gets really dense. It doesn't breathe that great, but in general, it breathes well.
So. Yeah. So they do the whole dress shopping. They pick out the
This is
colors.
a fun interaction, though, to kind of show you the difference in economic standing
Mhm.
and how Moiraine had to pull Swan aside and like give her the you don't question your tailor, you don't ask her prices, you listen to her advice, you give advice on the advice to fit what you want, knowing that you're not going to get exactly what you want, but what she thinks is going to look best on your body within the parameters that you set, though she's going to ignore your parameters. So you just take what she gives you and you spend the money that she tells you to spend, and you might get half the dresses that you want. The end.
Yeah. It's like
You
in
know,
the
it-
US, you don't see this anymore, but there are restaurants, high-end restaurants where there are not prices listed on the menu. And you're not really supposed to ask, like they will roll their eyes at you because they're already thinking, well, get a
If you have to
shitty
ask,
tip
you can't
now.
afford it, kind of thing.
Right.
That's their attitude.
If you have to
Yeah.
ask, you can't afford it. So
You know, it's funny because like I'm thinking about it, and at first I was like, you know, they've both been around Aes Sedai being in the tower for 5
Yeah.
years, 10 years, whatever. So they should be picking up on that kind of stuff, like the clothes make the man kind of a thing. You respect somebody more when they're dressed like nicely and stuff like that. But at the same time, then I was thinking, well, this is really the first time that they've had to buy their own clothes, because as a novice, their clothes are issued to them. As an
Right.
accepted, their clothes are issued to them. And so this is finally like the first time where they're like, hey, we can wear whatever we want. And Swan still has that like fisherman's daughter mentality, I just thought it was funny that like she didn't really listen to Moiraine advice, really. I mean, like she
Yeah.
shut up about it, but she still gave her looks and stuff. And
she was doing
Do
it
you have
more for
anything
Moiraine,
cheaper?
not to respect the process. Like she
Yeah.
was more
Yeah.
being respectful of her friend.
It's
I-
hard to go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was gonna mention this at some point, so this is good. Swan, all of the Aes Sedai, they have echoes of their past built into their personality. But Swan, out of all of the Aes Sedai we've run into, really like it's a core part of who she is. I mean, and all of her sayings all the time, and the practical
Fish guts.
yeah, the
I still want to hear
the
that
practical
on the show.
sense of who she is, it never really goes away. Even in the regular books when she was Amerlin, I mean, she played the role as needed, but I don't know. I just always got the feeling that, from her, she was still that girl from the fishing
Yeah.
village. It never really left her. She
Well,
she held on to it on purpose, and it inspired her. And
broke and poor are two different things. Like
I mean,
poor is a
she basically
mindset, and break it, and
Yeah.
broke is a current status, and
right,
she's still poor. That's a
she
hard
ba-
mentality to break.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
basically was saying, don't be confused by the rocks that I got. I'm still Jenny from the block. Is what she was.
yeah, yeah.
You just nailed my number one. Like Chanel will have to be okay with it.
You could take the girl off the docks, but you can't take the docks out the girl.
Yeah. That's kind of in this chapter. Is there anything else in this chapter where it's they go dress shopping? I mean, there's some good little nuggets in there, but it's not anything. You get those contrasts of wealth, economics, and things like that in society.
Yeah.
You do.
Rob, I'm
You
sure you're
get
picking
it
up on this.
money.
But when Chris and I employ maximum effort to talk about everything but the chapter, it's because we got nothing. There's nothing to talk about in the chapter. The two things we said about this chapter, that was it.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Some of our
Well,
longest
there's not a
episodes
whole lot else
are nothing
going
about
on.
all the time.
Feel free to chime in whenever you like.
Yeah, about anything.
Yeah. For tonight, anything's on the table.
All right. So, you guys ready
I also
for?
think it's very funny how Moiraine is okay with like looking at others' bodies and having her body, kind of for everybody to see and on display because she was buying a dress, so she was okay with it.
Mhm.
It's just funny.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
it's like she understands that practical need of it, all the measurements and everything like that. But she's still very austere, very Karian into the core, like very
Sure.
reserved and stuff.
I'm opposite. Mm-mm. Look at me when I have my clothes on.
Chapter
Anyway.
14.
Are you the one that turns the lights out when y'all go to bed? I mean, I'm always trying to turn them on.
That's
Turn that
Alexa's
off.
job.
No, I might.
But
I
I
might
but I
need
do
that.
but I do
might
have a
need that light.
mirror over top of it.
You just can't say that on camera.
Anyway, next.
The mirrors on the ceiling.
Above the waterbed.
Yeah.
The
We had
little-
in
little
high
twin
school,
slot for
someone's
that.
parents
vibration.
had mirrors above their bed. I can't remember who it was. Like,
Was
But,
that Dave?
Why was that a good idea?
yeah, one of our friends' parents did. We're like, oh, I didn't know your mom was down like that. They got a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
She's the one that bakes cookies for everybody.
Yeah.
Best cookies
I
ever.
know she brings in a voice in the
I
yard.
was just gonna say
Anyway,
that.
what was the next chapter? It was the
Chapter
long one.
14 changes. Yeah, this is when the shit hits the fan. Really, I mean, for everything.
I guess.
Because they go back to the tower, Moiraine and Swan
Maybe.
do. And it starts the chapter with them just learning about new things about being Aes Sedai, like the water bond, the trick of ignoring, temperature, Aja secrets, things like that.
Hold on. I feel like we're obligated to talk about that a little bit more, only because that was one of the things very early on. We were like, how do they do that? Is it the power? Is it not the power? Da 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 da. But it's not. It's very much a mind over matter thing. It's more of a meditation. Okay, so I wasn't thinking of going here until that came out of my mouth. I got off of work early today and I wanted to take a nap. So of course I'm going down the rabbit hole of watching just like sci-fi stuff or, Nat Geo or whatever. I found this cool documentary came out last year about quantum entanglement. And
Okay.
we talked about this before a little bit, but it went further into it. Oh, so it's quantum entanglement, but it was also
The proto-molecule.
no,
He's
we've
not
talked about
watching The
this too. About how in certain levels of physics, if you observe it versus don't observe it, the reactions and actions are different. But it got into this thing on how if you take that out to the very end, if we could figure out how, then we have the ability to affect things almost like telekinesis or using the Force in Star Wars. Like we have the ability to mentally or through our senses affect the physical world around us. And if you also apply that to the quantum entanglement, those effects can be felt in an infinite distance immediately away from you. And it's a very horrible way of summarizing it.
This
It
is
could be like the
Is
discovery
it working?
of the one power for the next age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The key to unlocking channels.
You could reach across dimensions. You could reach across.
Talon Riyadh.
It's not the key, it's the chi. Because they talk about that with Shaolin monks. Chi.
Yeah.
Chi. Yeah. Go look at chi stuff. It's really interesting.
So they
Fascinating
learn
stuff.
a lot of things about a lot of stuff about the tower, and all they want to do is escape the tower. It's funny how they work so hard to gain their status, and the first thing they want to do is run away.
Yeah. Grass is always green on the other side, man. There's always better stuff out there than in here. It's
Well, what I want to know though, backing up, is that really a thing? The thing with like the focus and the temperature, because I know like the code D, like the flame in the void, like that's a real thing. But is this a real
something
thing?
can be applied to real life? Yeah. 100%.
About the temperature, like not being bothered by hot or cold or things like that.
Yeah, we have people that do like the polar plunges and stuff like that, and it's really a mind over matter as to how long you can stay there, and then the practice of doing it. There's a whole there are breathing mechanisms that you use to lower your heart rate and to get you into a state where you can handle that without issue. And there's
there's certain training there's certain training for you do for that kind of stuff. Like as a swimmer, and he will tell you this too, there's breathing exercises that you learn how to do. It's similar to like training to give birth, like how you hyperventilate and that kind of stuff to boost the oxygen level in your blood. And you do these almost like mantra kind of like very rhythmic breathing exercises to increase the oxygen in your bloodstream, so you don't need oxygen while swimming.
Yeah. And if you ever get into really extreme temperatures, I don't think it works as well where it's kind of hot and kind of cold. But if you're in kind of hot, it works to think cold thoughts. And even if you're not disciplined enough, if you try to do it, you could give yourself at least a shiver. It's not that difficult to do. To be able to sustain, it's more difficult. And even now, the risk on the cold side is if you're shivering like crazy and you're trying to do it and you stop shivering, that might be the next level of hypothermia, or you've been successful with mind over matter. So
at the same time, I have dove, like scuba dove in January when we actually had to shovel ice off of a sailboat before I dove down underneath to clean it. And I spent 40 minutes underwater in close to zero, like close to freezing temperatures. I mean, I did have a very thick wetsuit on. I had a 9mm wetsuit, but the entire time, all I could think about was cold.
Yeah.
It did not warm up. I was cold the entire time.
Well, I definitely thought it was interesting because, like I said, I think New Spring has been the book that I leave out the most when I have done rereads and stuff, and so I had totally forgot that explanation was in there. You know, and going through the main series, I'm always like, why don't they go into how they do that? You know, like they always mention
because they talk about it so much,
mind and stuff, but they never really talk about how they do it. And so this was cool to kind of see, like, oh yeah, you know, focus behind your abdomen and control your breathing and that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never really
and the Wim Hof is the breathing techniques that they use for when you do these polar plunges. And when you do that type of cold water therapy, it actually triggers the mind to tell the body to release a lot of stem cells. So it's highly therapeutic.
Yeah.
My Cairo mom does it, and so
humans actually naturally have a dive response too. Like if you go fully immersed into water, your body will instantly change to adapt to swimming. It's a dive response that every human has it.
Yeah. Well, you spend your first 9 months of your life doing that. So that
I'd say if you don't believe it, if you have a newborn, just throw them in the deep end and watch.
Yeah.
Or don't, because you might maybe go to jail
CPS might get called, but they'll be fine. People observing might not think so, but
anyway, so we go through all these cool techniques. They learn all the multitude of rules. I think the statement was that you're told that when you become Aes Sedai, there's that much more to learn than when you were accepted, and they said that was definitely true. And again, they just wanted to escape it all, but it was not coming to them.
Well, all of a sudden, they're also part of the Great British Bake Off, and they never really planned on that.
Yeah,
in the Blue Aja.
just happened.
You know, what was that? One got food poisoning, the other was like, this isn't even edible. Yeah, that's what they really need is cooking lessons. Forget being Aes Sedai and training. You need to learn to cook.
This is great. Job interview advice and parenting advice.
Look, you get everything from this podcast. We talk about life.
Just ignore it all. You need a disclaimer. Thank you. Yeah. Do not try anything we're talking about. This is for entertainment purposes only. Disclaimer. Everything we talk about.
And the dark humor creeps in every now and then. Apologies.
Apologies.
Please don't throw your baby into the deep end of the pool.
Method is proven.
Anything you can look up, do your own research on, and believe everything the internet says. So after
but cross contamination is a thing, so wash your hands. And
it is. So about a week after all this, after they're raised, they find out that another one died. Illid or whatever did not come back from her test.
So I was a little bit confused by that at first. When they said did not come back from her test, there was a moment where I thought that she just failed and they just
she
sent her away. It was ceremonial.
But that doesn't equal died. We need to stop saying that just because the book says
question. Have you guys watched the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I thought it was interesting that they brought in that, element into the show. How they changed Nynaeve's testing and stuff.
Oh, yeah. For 100%. I did enjoy that. And that's what I was going to say. Maybe she's there waiting for Moiraine to show up later on in life, i.e.
Yeah.
That's where Moiraine is
She
at.
went somewhere. She decided to stay somewhere. Like,
She's living her best life in the Matrix.
I don't think she got defeated by her equivalent of the spiders. I mean, I guess that's possible if you get overcome and you die in there.
She
But remember,
really wanted
there
to know
were
what
other
tasty wheat tasted like.
yeah, there were other temptations in the test that Moiraine went through that wouldn't have equated to death. There was a temptation to go with her father to go see her mother. So what if there was something similar that this person had, and she just totally fell into this world that she's in and is now living there?
Yeah.
So
I think it's
don't
absolutely
accept
what
that
it
she's
is. I think
dead.
they're kind
Yeah.
of like parallel possible dimensions and stuff.
I-
Just
I-
like with the portal
The
stones. and that.
multiverse.
Right.
I could do most of these tests, but like you put me in there and give me like poison baklava, I'm done. Like I'm sorry. It's just,
Yep.
Even you with a sign over that says this baklava is poison, Alan's gonna go.
Like
Fuck
the
it.
little kid with the marshmallow test, that kind of a thing. How long will he last with the
I'm done.
I mean, this is a powerful poison, but he finished the whole tray before it finally got him. Like, I'm impressed.
Well, it's like that fish
He
pie.
is
That
one
was
of
really
us.
good, but then she went right to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's how I've been all week. So I felt her in that moment when I was like, well, I know what that's like. That pizza was great, but the time I spent in the bathroom, was it worth it?
Paid
it's
for
like,
it.
it's like
And I've
Turkish
learned that
delights
lesson lately
in
too.
Narnia.
I
Yeah.
finally
Yeah.
figured out, like, tomato sauce is going to be my undoing, which really sucks because I love pizza and I love marinara sauce and I love pasta. And now I'm like going to Subway. I'm like, take off the tomatoes. Dang it. I freaking love tomatoes. But
Aw.
don't wreck me.
Yeah, Narnia scarred me. I still won't eat Turkish delights just because of Narnia. I don't trust it. I've never had one in my life. I've been
Dude,
offered
it tastes
many
like
times.
flowers.
they're
It's nasty.
great.
You wouldn't want
Yeah.
to eat it anyway.
Is it
no.
like lavenderish or it's
It's
Like
rose.
my mother-in-law
Rose,
had some.
yeah.
She's
Rose
like, "Oh, I got
water.
some Turkish delights." I was like, "Get away, you witch!" Like,
Yeah.
what do you want from me?
yeah, what do you want?
Yeah.
They have different.
I
they have
remember when I
different
was a kid
flavors,
reading
bro.
that, I'm like, dude, that sounds really good. But then I found out what it was, and I'm like, you know what? Like, the witch can keep it. Like,
It's
it's
keep it.
it's real.
You know what's funny? When they talked about it in the books, I have always been a big
That's
meat
your
eater. And when I think about like
Have you
foods I
now?
enjoy the most,
You gobble it
it's
down.
it comes down to the meats. So like in my mind, as they're describing like this just irresistible, you have one and you want to have more. And I'm like, that's like prime rib. Gotta be.
Yeah, you remember they
I
are
mean-
English though. It's in the book. They're English, and if you ever had
Yeah.
English cuisine, it's.
Right.
Very Indian.
I mean,
It's like an English
the
biscuit.
bar's pretty low. Sorry to
It's
my
a-
UK
it's a
friends.
dry,
but-
stale cracker.
Yeah, there's the video that went viral about the kids trying American food. They're like, "Why would you put gravy on your biscuit?" And they try it, and they're like, "Oh my
These
god! It's no
exist?
wonder
They're
they're
like-
all obese."
They're like, a biscuit is not what I thought it was. You know?
This is amazing.
It's not a cookie.
That was a phenomenal. Yeah, it's
Why would
not
you
a
put
I'd love
gravy
to.
on a
I'd love to
biscuit.
see one of them eat a Popeye's biscuit. That salty,
Oh.
sweet, just
Popeye
Danger.
biscuits.
Oh man, I was at a men's breakfast this last weekend, and like, one of the guys, his wife made homemade biscuits of gravy with like, so good. He's like, you can take the rest of it. I'm like, dude, I would not make it out of here alive because everybody would kill me if they saw me grab a
Exactly.
pan and run it out.
I was talking about this. If anyone ever gets a chance to go to Norfolk, Virginia, there's a restaurant called the Handsome Biscuit. And
worth a plug.
They, so it's a little hole in the wall. You would go to it. It doesn't no tables inside. It's just like this little tiny shack, but they make the best biscuits. I mean, so they're stacked like this high, and they'll do like the Hella Fitzgerald is my favorite, and it's like
I love
fried.
mine.
It's like fried chicken with bits on a biscuit with like sausage gravy and bacon and egg and everything just like piled up high, and like heart attack in a biscuit, but it's
Glorious.
Show me the thing if it ain't got that swing.
If you're counting
Yeah,
calories, one biscuit will last you 3 days.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, probably around 10 or 11, like my dad's brother owned a music shop like about 100 miles up north of where I'm at right now, and small town in northern Washington, and there was a little hole in the wall shop called the Bluebird Cafe.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're gonna go and we're gonna have biscuits and gravy. And I'm just thinking, like, what, like KFC? What are you talking about? Why would we eat that for breakfast? I was thinking totally different,
Yeah.
and then like, he introduced me to it, and I was just like, I have not looked back. It was so good. And
Yeah.
that's like my favorite thing now. Like I rate a
Yeah.
place on how good their biscuits and gravy is and how good their fish tacos are. Like
Yeah.
So you're
So
saying
that's just good
Washington, like
standards.
state or DC?
Washington State.
Oh, okay, you're way over there, man. Come to
Yep.
the south. or don't come to the South.
I will one day. Well, I've been to
Yeah.
Atlanta
Jordan
a couple
Con.
times for Jordan Con, but like
Atlanta doesn't count.
Atlanta
Yeah.
counts.
Atlanta.
I guess.
It's in the South, but it doesn't represent.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Like just the other night, like I was listening to a song and I'm like, you know what? I've never tried peanuts in my Coke before.
It's not that great. I
not
mean, I
that
had
great?
it. I don't like it. I mean, I know it's definitely a Southern thing, but
Uh-uh.
peanuts and Coke.
I couldn't imagine you'd be able to crush them up enough where it's not going to like tear up your sinuses when you snort it. Like, how do you get
Yeah. Well, depends on how hard you snort.
Or it's like a paste, it clogs up your
And so
nose.
we get to the point to where
That's what they made in peanut butter for.
we get to the point to where they realize that others are now being brought in at a pretty quick pace, and even Swan sneaks her way in to be a sixth kiss so she could get her pie. And that
Oh,
was
yeah.
from one of our friends. What was her name?
Shiriam.
Shiriam, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a
So-
baker.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
a
it's
big-
Thank
really-
you, Chris, because I think our podcast is about to get canceled.
It's really cool to see people like Shiriam finally making it in. We're getting to see the personality before they become like full-fledged Aes Sedai. Like,
Yeah.
I'm too serious to be anything but serene and calm. Like,
Mhm.
this book was that nice break that we needed from them. And again, I don't know
Like,
if
oh, they
Alan
used to be people.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, except Elida, she's always been horrible.
Elida's well, no, but see, she was the mean girl. Like, now Elida just seems like a roaring biatch, but we realized that she was the mean girl, and she wanted to be liked, and she made attempts at being liked. She just didn't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
And rather than being adult-like people and going to her and saying, "Hey, we don't know who said anything.
Yeah.
We are sorry that happened to you." You know, Swan and
A lot
Moiraine
of
were
just
very
needed a hug.
childish.
A lot of needed a
Yeah.
hug. That's what it was.
Or she didn't get hit by a bus. One of the two.
Or the
She-
D.
She got passed
That
over
too.
by
She's
the
a
prom
red,
queen
that's her
committee, and
problem.
She's still not
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah, it's like that pair. You meet people like this in life that like are not touchy feely people and don't want to be touched, but you know that's all they need is a hug, but like they refuse it because like
I'm that guy that gives it. Like, here,
I
get
know,
this
but
hug.
you meet people like that, and it's really
When you
I'm
meet
like,
them,
dude,
if you go in
Your
for the
wife is one
hug,
of those people.
yeah.
you got to do the minute-long hug. If it's too short of a hug, you're only going to reinforce their hatred of the hug.
Oh yeah,
You
go
got to,
full-fledged.
yeah, do the 30
full
to
set.
30-second to a minute hug, and eventually they break down and start crying on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some people who know they're giving you the hug because they know that you need it. They don't necessarily want it, but they also do want it. So it's like that really long side hug, like man, I would take this
Yeah.
embrace, but I don't want to. And that's Elida. So
Yeah,
we at least got that.
the butt out, one
Uh-huh.
arm, just a couple back
Yes,
pats,
that
and like,
one.
okay,
Mhm.
that's enough.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say she eventually got a really small hug, but that might be a spoiler. So never mind.
Tell me more.
like it.
Tell me more.
My lips are sealed.
I like it.
No, I
Anyways.
am not spilling the tea.
So
I'm not
after
cheering.
this, it switches forward to a few days later after
Oh.
all this stuff, and we
A
find
few
out
days later.
that Amerlin has died. She died in her sleep.
Aw.
Yeah, and that was Rima that came in and said that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a little confused. I feel like in the first book, or this could have been the TV show, it was like the Amerlin put them on this quest to find Ran.
She did. Tamara kind of did. I mean,
Well, because they were there for the foretelling, so they were already kind
but
of.
they were kept
included.
secret. But they were
No.
told, to go on a quest.
No,
Yeah, but they were there
no,
as secret.
they were
they were
there
in
as
their
happenstance
Mm-hmm.
Yep, but they got
when it
sucked
was told they got sucked in of their own fruition. She
Mhm.
never once invited them to be a part of this. Did not give
The
them the
pa-
information
pattern.
right. Like the
Mhm.
pattern, yeah,
the wheel
whatever.
weaves. as the
But they're
wheel
like, oh, the
wills.
Amelin set us on this grand. This is girls making something up in their mind.
Yeah,
Like,
and the
I'm
show,
Oh
important.
shoot!
in the show, they made it seem
You're
like
right.
in the show they made it seem like they're forced to go on this quest, whereas in the books, Moiraine does it because she's running away. We get to this at this chapter, but she's running away
Requesting.
because
Yeah.
she doesn't want to become the Queen of Kyrian, which is what the Aes
Yeah,
Sedai
she's
is
running
trying
away
to
from
do.
her real responsibilities.
Yeah,
You're not.
but that also like just being there and hearing that prophecy really sets her on her her Blue Aja trajectory to
Sure.
find the dragon, right? Where like in the show, it was
Y'all can
her
make
and
this as
Swan also,
ambivalent
but
as you want,
nobody
but
else
she
was
was
there.
running away from responsibility and made her little sister take on the job.
I don't
And
want
her
no consequence,
nephew-
consequence. I don't want
And
no
then
Her
we
consequence.
get-
They're
nephew was
chasing
busy
me
running
right
a
now.
sandwich shop.
And when you're
You're-
running from something, the thing you're running to, you're going to overinflate and make it seem
grand.
Yeah.
so you
But
don't have
she
to feel
does
bad
say,
about
you
not
know,
looking
like,
back.
She dropped
she's
a
running
notch
from the
in
tower
my
because
book.
she doesn't want them to like, because the tower is all about if we can place an Aes Sedai on the throne, which we've not been able to do before. Like we're all about that.
In a
And so
long
this is
time,
like
it's
their
like
prime
310
opportunity.
years.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we're gonna set her up as the queen because that'll boost our influence. And she's like, no, that's a sentence for life. I think she says. In the
And
chapter.
yet, so she ran away
Yeah,
from
she wants
two
nothing to do with that.
responsibilities. She ran away from responsibilities being a queen, and she ran away from the responsibility of representing the Aes Sedai in that way, and
Mhm.
merging the two. Like she did not want responsibility, so she skated.
Well,
well,
but she has bigger fish to fry because she's like, you know what? Like it all pales in comparison to finding the dragon.
No, because you could have become queen and sent multiple people out on
And
that
she
quest.
doesn't also know if the Armelin got the information that was passed along after her death because it was kept very close. So
Now it might
like
just be
she's
two
like she
people only
feels
that
like
know.
I'm the only one that might know this information. It's on me. I have to do this.
And let's talk about something we haven't brought up yet. She has made casual remarks and noticed that, during that one festival, there's huge swaths of the tower that are not used anymore, that are vacant.
Yeah.
And more spaces are coming vacant. Yes, we're excited for all of what Chris said from the reader's perspective. We're excited to see all these people raised up, but even she takes notice that, all right, why the sudden surge of people being raised up? And then we're not getting as many novices and everything. So she's seeing just the mathematical issues with the continuing influence and power of the tower.
Ian, I have a question. Simple question, right?
Mhm.
If you had influence, could you not solicit so much more towards an effort?
Oh, sure.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Depends on who's like who's opposed to you.
say you came up upon like $1 million. Yeah, say you came up, upon $1 million, right? When $1 million is really worth $3 billion. Could you not then hire tons of people to go out and, I don't know, search for women that could channel, or find a boy born close to Dragon Mount, or
So unfortunately, because of what I know, I'm hopeful that between her and Swan, they come up with a plan that can attack both things. We know Swan eventually becomes the Amberlin. So
Moraine's
maybe as a team, they come up with a plan to have influence and power within the White Tower itself, but also still continue on this mission. I don't think it takes away from what you're saying about her. I mean, she never, even the books we're reading clearly in the show, it never comes off that Moiraine is excited to be at the White Tower itself.
Yeah, I mean,
she don't care about none of
how
that.
much she hates doing the books and how bored she is. She wants to be all
Tired,
about that
right.
action, boss.
Right. She wants to get out in the field.
Yeah,
I feel that though. I've
don't want a
enjoyed
desk
my
job.
time in the army. My good army stories. I will never tell you shit about garrison work. You might get a good story or two about like field exercises, but my best time was actually deployed and doing my job. That's what I want. I don't want to be back training, getting promoted, getting awards for doing stupid shit in the field. I don't know. Y'all keep that. Don't need it.
All I'm saying is, and then I'm gonna let it die. I promise you.
Like Moiraine.
She ain't dead.
I'm just kidding. I know.
Moiraine who? Moiraine who?
All I'm saying is that sometimes you have to take one for the team to grow the team. And she could have done so much more if she had influence and Swan had influence. I'll leave it at that.
If she believed enough in her abilities and her cause, imagine being in a position where you have influence over other people, where you can mentor them and pull them towards your cause. That's how you multiply. Yeah. So on that,
I think that
I feel you.
I think that she's probably being smart because she is Karyan and she knows how backstabbing her own people are.
Yeah, she
She
mentions
knows
that.
like if
Face
anybody disagrees with what she wants to do, she can expect a knife in the back, like literally
Mhm.
at any time,
Right.
She just saw what happened to her uncle. Granted, she didn't like him and he was an idiot and, like.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then she's eyes to die, and she can have a couple of sisters on her side.
Yeah.
But can you ever really
By
trust
order
him?
of the Amelin.
Outside of Swan, who could she
Well,
trust?
except that like
Oh.
the Amerlin that she looked up to was just found dead.
Just
you know.
got dead.
Just got dead.
Dead.
Deaded.
Sorry, I messed up my tenses there.
How
Just
did
got
Oh,
she
you
get
didn't
dead.
mess up. You didn't mess up.
Yeah.
We were following
Did
you.
perfectly.
We were.
I
Tell us
think we're
more.
questioning that anyways, right? It's
Oh
suspicious.
yeah, it was very suspicious that she hears what she hears, puts people to work. We got somebody after Moiraine. We don't know why he's after Moiraine, and then she pops up dead, just out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
And the new Amerlin is like, she's not messing around.
No,
No.
not at all.
She's penalizing everybody. She's not celebrating. She's just like,
No.
ruling with
Yep.
an iron fist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this like
they
the
kick
10th?
out a whole bunch of novices,
No,
like,
this
that
is the
didn't
new
cut it.
Armlin.
It's the new armlet. That's right.
It's new Armlin. Yeah,
And they-
she's
Ooh,
Sirin from
is she a dark friend?
the Grey Asha.
Ooh,
All the men punishing people. That's right. I forgot about
really
that.
part of the Black Haja.
She's part of the Grey. Grey.
Uh-huh.
There is no.
Are they like the negotiators, like the political?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
she's
kind of funny
black.
that she's from the Gray because she's doing a lot of stuff that is like very much like
Right.
non-negotiable.
Like, yeah.
But then
Gray-
everybody was,
Not mediated.
Gray's a
Everybody was
combination of black and
surprised.
white.
everybody was surprised that she didn't go red. We got to remember that. She's
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
We noticed that.
So Moiraine goes into her study as soon as she's raised, and she's not happy to see Moiraine. She's like, "What are you doing here interrupting me?" And she's like, "I just want to get out of my job. It kind of sucks, and other people are doing it, and like
It's
I don't want to do it
lame.
anymore. So like, can I
I went to
not do it?"
Quantico and I'm just filing reports all day.
Yeah, I don't like this. And the new Armlin's like, "Okay, sure, I don't care, but you can't leave."
She played it very well. She was like,
Cash me outside. How about
Like
that?
that.
they could do it a lot better if they were doing it on their own, and they'd be more expeditious. She's like, look, I would cancel the whole thing if it would make us look bad. Do what you
Yeah.
want, just don't leave the tower.
And she's like, screw it. I
No,
can take a
don't
penance.
leave Tarvalon.
I can hoe some cabbages if I need to eventually.
Yeah.
That's just the only time. Yeah.
Yep.
And Moiraine says, deuces. And
Yeah.
immediately just turns around. I mean,
Thinks about her
It's like
riding dresses
They
again.
say, do
Yeah.
what you want, but pay the cost.
yep. So yeah, she says goodbye to Swan, heads out the city, goes to the banker, picks up all her money, goes to the dress shop, picks up her dress, hires a ship, and is like, deuces.
She said, I just can't go by bridge or street, but I can go by water.
She doesn't
You
notice
think-
that someone's tailing her the entire time too.
Yes.
Do you think that Swan is in on it?
And
I think there's enough of a relationship already between the two that if Moiraine is naive enough to think she could pull one over on Swan, then come on, shame on her. Like
but
they're
there's something
close
to be
close friends.
there's
Th-
something
this
to be
is a
said about
thing-
plausible deniability. Like that's a
That's what
friend
I was
move.
going to say.
That's a
That
friend
might be
move, too.
offered, right?
That's a friend move too. Like I'm
but
not
to
going to tell
expect
you
that Swan is not
because-
going to notice that you're acting a little different, that something's a little off. It seems like their friendship is close enough that Swan would notice enough to know that she ought to be noticing more.
when her
and
bed
look
is
into it.
cold the next night.
Look, I don't know.
Well,
Yep.
just like in the show, when they have their like falling out at the Waygate, right? And she goes with Lamphere and Lan and them. And then like there's that last shot of like Swan looking at her. And a lot of people are like, that's the end of their relationship. Like me personally, I think that like they had that planned. And
Yes.
it's all big picture stuff, like it's all part
That
of
was
their
the
plan.
come on now. If we've been led to believe that there's pillow talk between these two, that's when the real plotting happens.
That's right.
Let me tell you. If you and your missus at night are only talking about sexy things during your pillow talk, you're missing out on an opportunity to conquer the fucking world. That's where the real planning happens. That's where the goal
There's
set
supposed to be
happens.
talk afterwards. Normally, it's one person.
Take advantage.
passed out.
Take advantage of that moment of clarity,
By the time I get
and don't
cleaned
just do
up,
the kissy. I love you.
by the time I get
good real
cleaned up,
talk that
she's
can happen.
asleep.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't bother cleaning. I just have a lot of different sets of sheets that we swap out often.
Oh no, not that. I'm talking
Just
about
go to
me.
sleep.
Like,
Yeah.
Nah. She's
Anyway,
like that. It takes like 10 seconds for her to fall asleep. I wish I could add that ability.
Jealous of that. I can't.
yeah.
I guess
So
I do
as
have
Mar-
an ability.
Yeah. So
Couldn't
as
know.
Moraine's leaving, she's thinking about all the punishment that she'll get for this, and also that she could be assassinated as well. Like that, there's some assassin after.
But then she just goes,
Yeah.
F it. I'm a main
Okay.
character. Nothing's gonna happen to me.
this is what I
Exactly.
signed
got
up for.
plot armor.
Yeah.
At least she like uses her like supervision and sees the face. She's like, "Yep, that's the guy. All right, he's stuck there, and I'm on this ship. Can you go any faster? All right, let's go."
Which that ship could go fast.
It
Yeah.
did.
They were
What
on
do
a
you think?
quick and
Of,
speedy
we did gloss over this. What do you think about the fact that like Moiraine Swan even considered like bringing Sheriam in on all this, but then think like, she's a gossip queen. Like we can't tell her anything.
I mean, that's something you got to consider.
Yeah.
If the secret is important enough, like they said, she has enough integrity that she wouldn't like overtly go around and spill the beans, but she lacks the ability to keep it off of her face that she has a secret to tell.
And if you
We all know people like that.
You got to pull a Tyrion Lannister where you give like 6 different stories, different people, and see which one comes back to you. And like, yep, I know who the snitch is.
And if you know your people well enough, like the current mistress of novices would be like, hey, go to her Armelin. She knows something's up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she won't be able to lie to her Armelin who give her direct commands. So
Yeah.
Look,
Alan, you have multiple kids, so you might have experienced this by now. When you're trying to plan something or a surprise for one of them, and you're like, okay, we're going to include some of the other kids on this, and you talk to them about the surprise and the keep it a secret, and everybody's responding back, and the kid's like, oh yeah, I get it, this will be fun, whatever. And you break from the family huddle, and you're like, good, this is something we're all going to do together. And then that kid just goes straight to their sibling and goes, got you a bike. It's not the purple one you wanted. It's got the red tassels on it. Huh? And then walks away. And you're like, we just talked about this for 30 fucking minutes.
my son got so upset the other day.
Up?
My birthday's not till April, and he just had his birthday. So I guess he talked to my wife about like what he's getting me for my birthday. And he's like, Dad, I figured out what we gave for your birthday. I was like, all right, cool. Just let it be a surprise. He's like, but I really want to tell you. I was like, no, dude, I'm good. Like, just wait. And he's like, but I really, really want to tell you. I was like, you don't have to tell me. He's like, well, I'm going to tell you anyway. Like,
I'm not listening. Kids.
Alan, can you at least wait till I'm halfway through the bottle of whiskey? Because then I might not remember. Okay?
It's like you really, really like those, and like, because I'm the only. So what it was is I'm the only person in the household that actually eats olives, like puts olives in my salads for that. Like no one else eats olives. I'm not a huge fan of olives, but he associated that. Like, I mean, I don't dislike olives. I'll put it on salad and stuff like that. But like,
now you're olive
man.
in his
Man. So he's gonna buy me olives for my birthday, and he was so excited about it. I was like, thanks.
That is cute, though. I mean, it's the beginning of being not just self-aware but aware of others.
Sure, it is. Yeah. It was cute. I did act surprised. I was like, oh, awesome. I didn't give him the whole.
And then
Alan
learned, I need to pull out my Cosmere books near him more, and I need to show him more autographs in said books.
This is what you need to talk to Mom about. This is what we need to get.
I do have a Brandon Sanderson autograph book, but
this is my most favorite book.
When I think of happiness, this is what
if somebody were to give me another one of these most favorite books, then they would be my favorite child, and they would get named first in the will.
Yeah, I hung out with him at JordanCon in that little the little convenience store they have in the hotel. Like we were both shopping together, But I hadn't read any of his books yet, so I'm like, I hope he doesn't ask me about his books. I'm just like, hey, and he's like, hey, that was it. No autographs, nothing. But
nothing. Yeah.
It's like,
And I would have been you. I would have been like you last year, and then I got into the books, and now I'm like, and I'm sure I'll be raked over the coals for this. I don't know who's better. In my mind, I know who's better, but I won't admit who I think is better
Of a writer.
of a writer. I've
Different
only
styles.
told one. I've only told one other person.
It's a preference.
Oh no, it's
Sanderson works better with like this fast-paced environment we live in today.
Yeah.
He works better on audiobooks. But
Yeah.
if you could take yourself back to before we can do the audiobooks, when it was easier to have time to set aside to like spend hours reading and really get lost in a book, I think Jordan's style was good for that. Like you could disappear in a different world for a while. But it doesn't work as well today.
Yeah.
It doesn't move quick enough.
Sure. So you guys
My
ready to go
attempt at
into
being
you guys ready to go into the final chapter for tonight?
the end.
yes.
Into Canlum? It's a short chapter.
Land.
It's just land.
It is
It's
land.
land. It's just
That's
land.
it. That's all my comments.
Yeah, land the man.
Y'all were asking for him last week.
I mean,
And
I
here
can
we
really
are.
sum this chapter up in like 5 seconds. Land gets to Callium, which is up north near the Blight, and they get to the city walls, and they're like, "Yeah, bunch of argument about Makiri talk."
said,
And
"Put
like,
some
it is
respect
the
on
king of
my name."
Makiri. Like, and they, and
They
Become
put the
like it's
respect
angry.
on his name, 100%.
I'm hoping this is the beginning of getting into Lan and his lost cause feeling, the not hopeless, worthlessness. I won't say hopeless because he's A-okay with going down swinging in the Blight. But it's like he was clearly born and built for something that he recognizes that doesn't really exist. That opportunity is not there anymore. There's nothing to fight for anymore, really.
yeah,
So like the dark side of Lan that builds him up to who we know he becomes. Like
Yeah.
I hope this
I
is the
would think
beginning
it's
of us
an
getting
awesome.
into that.
you get Bukama getting really upset over stolen valor. Like, how dare you
Yeah.
say you're Makari? Like, Valkyrie. Valkyrie.
Oh yeah, he said, you don't wear your hair properly. Like, what are you talking about? You cut your hair. You don't put it up in a bun.
Yeah, I guess the guard was trying to act like he was Makiri, but like Imakama.
You were the slave of a.
Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the people that dress up like and act like the Marines when they get called out. It's usually not pretty for them.
No, not at
Look,
all.
unless you do your research of all of the services to try to pretend to be, Marines definitely, at least male, female, they could have been, ETS 10, 15 years ago. You already kind of have a feeling they are. And when it comes
You're
out, you go,
always-
okay, that makes sense. Like they've got that walk, they've got that swagger. I think there's a lot of military people when they get out, they
Do
still
you
carry
call
a
it
certain amount of
swagger?
that.
It looks
But
like stiff knees because they can't move them anymore. But it's
there's
still
some of that.
swagger.
But yeah, I think of all the services, if you've never been a Marine, kind of hard to impersonate it.
Nah, go for Air Force.
Yeah.
I
That's
I think
explain.
the rest of us can recognize it really well, but that doesn't mean I can impersonate it. I would never.
yeah.
The Marines will do something about it. They will come roll
Ed-
up on you 6 deep from nowhere.
Right.
Nobody will be around you, and you'll say something the wrong way. Well, I was a Marine, and then all of them. Okay, you're like, wait, where'd y'all come from? So,
Yeah.
what was your MOS?
Yeah.
Where'd you serve?
I had a friend.
Where'd you train?
There's a friend I used to race sailboats with that it was borderline stolen valor type stuff that he would do, and it would always piss me off. Not because I was in the military, just because he would talk so much like it was something like, and it was just tough to be around him because he would always talk about orders he's on, stuff like that. And he was part of the Virginia Defense League, which is like a volunteer organization that technically the DoD gives him cards and they monitor ham radios. But he was talking about how he's a chief and blah, blah, and how he gets respect and everything. I was like, you're like the parade volunteer dude. Like, it's not like a real
Right.
thing. Like,
I mean, thank you for finding a way to serve in whatever capacity you can, but don't
Yeah.
make it.
but you make it like, General
Yeah.
salute me kind of like attitude. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so
to
nice
that
guy.
point, Land didn't want the pomp and circumstance. He's like, at the end of the day, I know I am who I am, but it doesn't exist anymore. I'm just
Yeah, how does
land.
that translate into my life ahead of me? What do I do?
Yeah.
He's just ready to sacrifice himself to the blight. Dude has wild potential, needs purpose.
Mhm.
I hope I was excited that him and Moiraine meet each other really quickly, and then like it just develops fast into what we know it becomes. But in a twisted way, I want it to be complicated. I want a kind of a dark struggle with Lan. I don't want
What?
I don't want the epiphany. I don't want the true coming together
No.
till the very end of the book.
And here's the thing.
Stretch
I'm
it
with
out.
you on that. Like, I need Moiraine to have some character development first. I need her to get past the, oh, I just want to escape and go on this, task to be the first person to find the boy just because it makes me feel important. Like, I need her to mature so that she is deserving of Lan.
How about this? How about they come together early, not ready for it, and they help
Grow
refine
together.
each other.
And that, yes, because steel sharpens steel.
They stumble together. They fail together.
I'll
They take
that.
turns letting each other down. They find ways to make it work. That would be a good
take that.
storyline.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will take
Yeah.
that.
Maybe.
What do you think,
There's some
Rob?
real to that. Any of,
I'm not saying nothing.
any of y'all sitting around waiting to be
Hey,
perfect
Rob,
before
here's
you
the
find
bigger
your
question:
significant other.
how does Moiraine come back again?
Because we know Lanfear's back,
I'm
so we
not
know it can be
saying
done.
nothing.
She's in this book. What are you talking about?
Because we do know that Lanfear came back. Like, she made it out. So
We know that we know the Dark One can bring people back to life. This has happened multiple times in the books.
well,
Yeah, Lampert didn't make it out. She died.
Yeah, Lanfear died and got
She's back. She's
brought back by the Dark One.
no,
Yeah, but she died.
No.
But she died.
No.
It says that
She couldn't be brought back if she didn't die.
But she still got her same
Lanfear.
sexy body. Like, she couldn't have the same
Uh,
sexy body.
It's a different body,
No, she got a sexy body.
but it's a different one. It's not the same one.
She's like a little elf princess now, right?
Alan, get my wife's
Name.
name out of your mouth. Talking about her.
So what does Moiraine come back as?
Dude, I hope to break it to you, man. Just it was one of those things I think Jordan toyed around with.
Rob, I don't know if you know this, but right off the bat, when Tom died, Chris and I were like, no, Tom's not
Nope.
dead. Tom's coming back. And we'd bring it up episode after episode. And eventually, Alan got really mad at us and was like, y'all need to just stop talking about that shit. You're messing up the show. Tom's dead. And then like 2 weeks later, Tom comes back. They're like,
Yeah.
you ate
No,
her. So
I will never give up on Moiraine, and I feel like she's gonna be with Tom, and they're gonna be on a unicorn together.
yep, it's
Okay.
going to be
The
lovely.
unicorn may be a stretch at this point, but
Okay.
Jordan said no after unicorns. Like literally said
I-
no.
Unicorns are in the book.
Seriously,
It mentions the unicorns in the book.
It does have
It
a
does.
unicorn in the book. I point that out.
Yeah, when they
Yeah.
go, like they find like an old reference to one, like to a unicorn. I think it's
Yeah,
a
that
rhinoceros,
was just
but like
not.
The way
They
it's
call it a
described, it
unicorn.
sounds unicorn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his one nod to unicorns.
I think it's when they're going through the bones at in Terabon
Chico.
and Tenchico, yeah. And they
It was like a
describe one
brief
as
one or two line. Yeah.
Yeah, I read that as a rhino.
rhinoceros.
a
Yeah.
fat rhinoceros.
Well, we were
rhinoceros.
we were looking for a unicorn, so we found.
You look for a unicorn,
unicorn.
you'll find a unicorn.
Yeah.
Look at the bones. Look at the bones.
That's what she said.
Anyway,
Wouldn't
Anyway.
this like narwhal horn fit exactly on a horse head?
Yeah, well, hey, I'll take
I
it.
found a unicorn. That's it.
just tape it onto duct tape.
Alan's
it
like,
onto
I found a new gaming chair. Love you.
Yeah, love you too. Anyways, so like I said, a really short chapter. They get to this city. Everybody's like, "Yeah, the king's back." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not a king. I don't want to be here." And
Leave me alone.
that's pretty much it. This
The
chapter.
homeboy's like, I promise you, I won't draw my sword while I'm here. I'll be a
Yeah,
good
it
guy.
does the whole thing.
Everybody's
Is this emo
floored. They're
land?
Like, what?
Should we picture Lan with the bangs up front that cover
Mhm.
one eye
Yeah,
completely?
let's do little head flips. Hair flips.
not a king, guys. I'm going to the blight. Fight to my death. Doesn't even matter. No one will care.
Gondor has no
In
king.
the end, it doesn't matter. I try so hard to
Yeah.
make
So, any
it
thoughts? I mean, like I said, it's a short chapter.
end, it doesn't
Alan,
even
the fact that we talked this much about these chapters, we gave it our all.
We did.
The fact that Rob is smiling is just surprising me. I thought it'd be a look of shock.
Yeah.
He has his
I'm just a happy
what's it
guy.
called?
There you
I have my Wacom.
I'm not a
Yeah.
king. I didn't vote for me.
Yeah, he's got
That's what he
That's what
zoned
got
out
him
and
through
just
it.
spun. He was like, "These guys." Woo.
It's a dream tear on Grill.
Yeah, it's true.
There you go.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
finish Winter's Heart and Crossroads next after New Spring. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're doing Crossroads after this. Yes.
Yeah, we already finished Winter's Heart.
Winter's Heart 2.0.
Winter's Heart was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. That's a good ending.
Crossroads.
I feel like I'm meant to go back and listen to the last few.
Crossroads is a.
Oh, didn't
It's-
you say this the same thing as Winter's Heart, just told from
Just
different
like different
perspectives?
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. I
So
think
Crossroads-
going into it knowing that like makes it way less confusing.
Yeah.
Because when I read it, I was like, wait a minute, what? Okay, I
Yeah,
But
read
you
this,
didn't read it
what
at
happened
2
next?
chapters a time a week. So
Maybe I did. I don't know.
Better
That
make
was
it
long-
6 chapters, Alan.
that was long
Yeah,
before
we do what the Will
audiobooks.
Takes did. Just do it in 2 episodes. Just read the whole book, and we'll take a couple weeks off, guys. We'll be back, and we'll just cover the whole book in 1 episode.
Honestly, like I don't know how you guys are doing this. Like just
it's
2
been
chapters at a time. How is it?
4
Your self-control
years.
amazes me.
Radical acceptance.
yes,
I'd be like, screw it. I'm reading it. I'll just go back.
I
and
was
read it over.
tricked. I will
I was
stand
convinced-
by that.
I was convinced we'd have absolutely no success, and eventually, Happy would tell Alan, be like, "Alan, you have 3 people that listen a week, and you're spending so much time. You've got to stop." But like,
Yeah,
people listen, and
she's
there's like
she's
a
an
cool community. And
introvert. She's
now
an
we're in
introvert.
it.
She was like, another way to get him to leave me alone while I watch
Yeah.
TV. Yes.
Well,
do
on the flip side, it is a really good way to get through Winter's Heart and get through Crossroads of Twilight.
It is.
Like
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
we're
a
on
little
the-
dabble
like,
do ya.
that the driver behind you at the whip. Keep going. Like
Yep,
Yeah.
Alan's good at
then
that.
Ooh, New Springs is
Night
good.
for
but
Dreams
you
comes
have
along,
to
and
wait
good
to
luck.
find out the effects of the cleansing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I already forgot that's how we ended.
Yeah. The cleansing the taint.
Yep,
Yep.
I'm gonna
You
miss
know
the
what?
taint.
But
Well,
here's
the
the thing.
dirty
Here's-
taint.
Here's the thing, though. If Crossroads is the same book told from a different perspective, we still have another 8 months before we
Yeah,
figure
we got
out what
another
happened.
book to get through to really.
To know what happened at the end of the cleansing.
Oh, that means we get another book of taint. It's not really gone yet.
Correct.
Kind of. So favorite character.
Go ahead, Ian.
Oh,
What are you asking?
Just favorite character. From these
Overall,
chapters. Not from the chapters.
Of this
from the
chapter.
chapters.
Yeah, from the
Who is your favorite
Um,
character overall?
did
the,
sorry,
Rob?
dre-
episode.
the dressmaker, the
The
seamstress.
dressmaker. Okay. Cool.
Who is your favorite character overall, Rob?
My favorite character
Oh,
overall is
who's yours?
Egwene.
Good point. Okay.
Really? Why?
No comment.
Raffo.
Raffo. Hit him with the Raffo.
I have a sixth
Bale Doman.
sadistic feeling.
And the Doobie Bill Doobie.
I do be
I
loving
get
some
you on
Bale
the Bale
Doman.
Doman part, like that right there, no question. But I have a feeling that we're gonna see Egwene and Nynaeve and Elaine struggle a little bit more before they fully come out. Like in my mind, they're gonna end up captured by the White Tower, or they're gonna end up recaptured by Dark Friends. I feel like it's gonna happen again.
Yeah,
And-
and even when even when they're almost there, like when these girls are about to come out, like they could be almost there for a while.
Yeah.
It's not
You think
it's not
so?
quite the same for. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, Alan, why do we have to be on camera for this?
My favorite would have to be, I don't know, as much as I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to go ahead and go with Moiraine because at least she's going after it. you know, as much as I hate the fact that she's running from her actual responsibilities, she's taking charge of her own life. So I'm kind of looking at it from the other side now of I'm not going to allow you to pressure me into something that I know could A, get me killed, and B, is not something I want. Again, still feel like it's a little selfish, especially when she's got a little sister at home who's gonna, you know, have to be the one to take the mantle on this. But at the same time, I agree with Ian. The will weaves, and we'll leave it at that because we know there's a deeper connection with her and Rand, and you know, we realize that her being the one was important to the series. I just feel like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is the perfect way to have done it. It's just a girl going off and doing her own thing, thinking that she's important, making herself important, and then becoming important. And had we read this before we started the series, I definitely would not have liked her the same way I did when we started. So I, again, will give Alan the props of not starting us with this.
Oh yeah, you don't start New Spring.
No, never start New Spring.
I
always tell people, like, you know,
I would have made that mistake
wait
though.
till the
If
end.
somebody says prequel, I would have started with
Right.
the prequel.
Like you do the Hobbit
because you
before
want to
the
know
Lord
the
of the
full
Rings.
story, right? But
Yeah.
But yeah. My favorite character is Bukama.
I agree with that too.
For this episode. Overall, it's Talmanis, but for this episode, it's it's Bukama.
Yeah, because they're like, even without his sword, he could disable and kill people like no other. I'm like, God, I wish I had that reputation. Wish I was that badass.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go on a spree or something.
Count spree. There you go.
Start whipping people with their own fist.
Yeah.
I used to do that as a kid. Like, I wouldn't hit my siblings, but I'd hit them with their own fist. Yeah, please tell me I'm not the only one.
Oh no, that was the thing to do.
I would grab them and smack them with their own hand.
yeah, that way when your parents ask, did you hit him? You know, like you can give an Aes Sedai answer, like, no, I didn't hit him.
I just saw this clip the other day too. Just did you ever see that Western that was made, like the Ode to Buster Scruggs or whatever? It was like this little known Western movie that's like hilarious. It's where the hanging thing comes from, like first time. That's that same movie where that comes from. There's a scene where the guy walks in the saloon and the guy pulls his gun on him and he kicks the table and the guy shoots up, shoots himself in the head. He kicks it like multiple times. He keeps on shooting himself in the head.
Gratuitous death scene.
It's
Can't
a
beat
little
that.
much, but it's
The old stop hitting yourself.
yeah.
Bro, and then I found out that your bottom of your feet don't bruise. Telling you,
Nah.
my
We would
kid.
also do this number where we're just walking around and like
I'm
if your sibling accidentally got in the way of it, be like, I'm just walking here. I'm not punching you. I'm just walking here.
I'm not punching you. I'm not punching you. I'm not punching you. He walked into my fist.
I never got away with that one, but boy, when I learned that you could smack the bottom of their feet as hard as you wanted and it didn't bruise, I would like drag my brother by his foot and we just did it just to try. Like there was no reason for me to hit him. Actually, I heard that it didn't bruise. He's like, "Wait, what? No!" Grab his foot and pull him.
Oh, siblings.
Anyway, Moiraine's that
That's
sibling.
love.
It's love.
It is love. He didn't tell on me. He did. Well, he tried to tell on me. I was like, "Mom, you know how hard I hit. I bruised you before by accident. Is there a bruise on him? Well, no. Why would you lie on your brother like that?"
Oh, it's sneaky.
And she'll never listen to this, so
Good deal.
she didn't like to read.
Yeah. So next time we're doing 3 chapters. 3, not 2, 3. The Deeps,
Giggity.
An Arrival, and A Narrow Passage.
Giggity.
Bum, bum, bum.
I know.
2 out of 3 giggities. Great. I'm excited.
The Deeps and A Narrow Passage.
Let's see how Jordan spins this one.
If I were his wife, I'd be like, really? Really? Really?
I'm sure
She
She was
actually
the
like
editor.
encouraged him, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she
the
had
editor.
to.
Yeah,
She was
she had
editing. She had to
It's-
encourage some of this. Make another boob reference here, hun. Okay.
Because it's funny, like when, because I'm assuming you haven't, like when you read the Origins of Wheel Time, like there's a story in there where then there's no spoilers or anything, where she just talks about like, you know, him coming to her with his first try at a romance novel, and she was like, "This is terrible. You know, like, what are you doing?" And
Let's
it doesn't
spice
get
it
all,
up a little.
it doesn't always
crazy.
get better, but it does get a little bit better.
I never thought about him writing anything outside of Wheel of Time.
Yeah, he used to write Conan books. I have one of them.
Really? He's not the
yeah.
original Conan.
No,
person.
he's not the
No,
original.
he's like
Conan.
number 2. He's like, I think he was like
Oh.
the second guy to write Conan. I think.
Really? Nothing to do
I
with the
think.
movies or anything, does he?
I
You
don't
mean
know.
like Conan the Barbarian, right?
Yeah, with Arnold. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are.
Conan's
They made a
Barbarian.
million books, and he took up the mantle and kept on writing the series.
Yeah, I have like the second Conan book that he wrote.
But
I don't
did
know.
he write a pen name, or was it the same?
No, that one is. I think that one is Robert Jordan.
Okay.
But like his romance book was called The Fallon Blood, and that was like set during the Revolutionary War.
Right.
Mm.
And
You know,
that is
so, like,
different.
historical fiction. And then
Back when people didn't brush their teeth, I can't be doing romance novels back then.
and his first attempt at a fantasy was
Warrior of
what's the
Valkyrie.
name of it?
Warrior of Valkyrie or something. Or
Yeah,
something.
Warrior of Altali.
That's all. Yeah.
And that was under a different name, wasn't it? Originally?
Might have been.
No, it was never even
No,
published.
it was never.
It was
published.
never even
Yeah.
published until after he died, and they
Right.
decided to publish it. But he had said, like, don't ever publish this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry in the
last
States
wish.
decided to publish it. Yeah.
And that has like a lot of reflections, I guess, of the Wheel of Time in it, like, you know, or not reflections, but like
is before the
Foreshadow.
time.
Parallels.
Foreshadow,
Yeah.
yeah.
ideas, you know, original
Ideas, yeah.
ideas. But
Gotcha.
I haven't read that one yet. So
Mhm.
I also have the Legends Compendium, like, and it has the first New Spring story before he wrote the book.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it was just a short story and then expanded it. I actually have yet to read that because I always kind of like in the back of my mind, I want to have some stuff of his that I have yet to read still.
Sure.
Because I don't want to be
That's
like,
pretty
I
cool.
read it, all of it.
What's
Yeah.
that? What's that in?
Legends.
Oh, Legends. Okay.
Yeah, it also has stories by.
Oh, Legends, where it has all the different writer. It's different.
Yeah.
Writer. Yeah. got
Yeah,
it.
there's like a Dark Tower story in there,
Yeah.
and Terry Pratchett has a story in there, and
Okay.
a few, you know, several different, you know, popular authors.
I ain't kissing
That's the
you
one
for
I
that.
actually met Robert Jordan and had him sign that at a bookstore in the late 90s.
Mhm.
Oh wow. that's
But then
cool.
when I got married, like, we were moving into a small apartment, and I hadn't like read my Wheel of Time books for a long time, and I was like not even thinking about it. I could have just, you know, asked my mom to store some of my stuff, but I was just like getting rid of a bunch of my stuff because I was just like focused on getting married.
Mhm.
And so I gave away like a whole bunch of books, including, and not even thinking about it, including that Robert Jordan signed
Oh.
hardcover of Legends. I didn't realize it until years and years later, and I was like, "What that?" And so I reached out to that person that I gave all the books to, and she's like, "Sorry, I didn't know," and I gave them away years ago too. So somebody out there has a signed copy of a Robert Jordan book that they probably didn't even know about.
You
Yeah.
start checking yard sales. Maybe
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
lucky.
you never know.
You never know.
Well, we're on the other side of the world, but my known world.
Yeah.
Anyways, so thank you, Rob, for coming on again.
Yeah.
How can they find all of your great content?
So let me see. I do have like one central, like one of those link tree things
Cool.
that can get you to all my stuff. It's either, I
Okay.
think it's, nope, that's not it. It's Linktree, linktr.ee/weekly wheel news.
Okay.
And so, you know, you can see, you know, the weekly wheel news at thegreatblight.com. You can see the
Okay.
merch that we've done. You can see the maps that I've drawn,
Mhm.
Patreon, TikTok, Twitter,
One-stop
YouTube,
shop.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So,
Sounds good.
yep. And it's been about a month since I put out it, maybe a little bit longer since I put out an issue, but I have it on my screen right behind this window. And I just need like one central photo, for my cover story. And then like the next issue will be out. So
Yeah.
Nice.
the only thing it's waiting for.
Getting
Oh,
ready
I got
to
Lauren
drop.
sending me screenshots, and like, you know, unfortunately they're not that good. So like, I got to figure out something.
Your,
Well.
your last what came out, like how much spoilers are in them?
Oh, there's usually full spoilers because it's
I know.
like it
But
doesn't
sometimes,
follow
sometimes
a
they're
certain
less
part of the story.
spoilery.
Yeah. Well, they've been about the show recently. Because like there's no shortage of available imagery now. And
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
let me just
So,
check.
hold on.
here.
I'll share this one so they can kind of get a taste for it. Here you guys go.
Thanks.
So the weekly little Farm Board claims it's a headline. It's a headline. It's
Yeah. And so this next one, I'm looking at it, and they're all show stories except for there's one that's based on the books, and that's from I want to say Shadow Rising, and so like it's definitely fine.
Yeah.
So Alan, you got to find the ones that we can handle and just send them to us so we can look at it.
Yeah, I mean, you always do like the Elida wearing the hat says "Make the tower great again."
Yeah, I got one on there.
Yeah,
that one never gets old.
I'll just say this: if nothing else, I like to go ahead and like all of the people's stuff and subscribe, even though I'll never actually visit the Well, I won't visit the content for another 4 years, but
yeah, make the tower great again.
At least it's there.
Oh.
All right.
Well, the next time I walk through the old issues, I'll try to go through and kind of like spoiler level set and see what I can share.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that doesn't have later book stuff in it. So
yeah, it's not always.
So. Sounds good. Well, how we can be found is at thewheelreads.com. That's our website. It has links to everything, including our merchandise store. So go check that out. Go buy some merch. You can get all sorts of cool stuff like t-shirts and frosty mugs and shot glasses and on and on and on and on. Lots of cool things.
And the website is up. It looks great and professional.
Oh, thank you.
Really cool.
Yeah, this really cool mic.
Yeah, you can get cool stickers.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, stickers.
I don't even have our sticker.
Well, I got a lot of them. So
I get to Jordan Con. Look, on our website, there's this really nice mic. Oh wow.
Because I know that mic. Orders, so. Huh?
What?
I was just saying on our website, the background's this really cool looking mic. I was just asking Ian if he had that mic.
No.
It's just a cool stock photo.
It is.
It is. So yeah, links to everything. Find links to Discord, our social media, and Patreon. So great way to support us. We love our patrons. What? Yeah, there's links. There's links to like stuff our sponsors do at the very bottom. I think those links still work. They should still work.
And if you haven't, go check out They Might Be Dark Friends podcast.
Yeah.
They Might Be Dark.
Available where all your fine podcasts
and
are.
if you don't, there might be a dark friend, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You might be a dark friend.
There you go. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff that I'm supposed to say, whenever you do anything live. And that's pretty much
the thing. Smash that like button.
Smash the like button.
Hit subscribe, all that cool stuff. Write reviews. I like reviews. They're fun. And that's all I got for this week, guys. So
until next time.
Peace.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching The Wheel Reads.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Get your Coast Guard certified life-saving device ready and strapped on.
Oh, where are we going tonight?
What kind of strap on you talking about?